street from a block. We're flipping a 2 to a 4 ain't an option. I hustle by nipping and nipping. I'm destined to get it, you know that I'm all in. See money be calling. No breaks for piss, no stalling.
And welcome back to Two Wops and a Chop. It's your boy Ryan.
It's your boy Ciroc Don.
Unfortunately, this week you only got the two Wops. Really, we're men's of men's, so you know.
Yeah, Andrew had prior other commitments, so we're gonna have to do a week without him.
That's it. Well, let's get it started. This week's been pretty crazy and some transfers going on. Let's just get a quick rundown on what's been happening around international footballs, club football, everything that sort.
Yeah, it's been a while since our last podcast, and a lot of things have occurred. But I think one of the main headlines in the news these days is the midfield transactions that are happening in the Premier League.
Oh, yeah.
I think a lot of the top tier clubs have made some marquee signings.
Oh yeah, for sure. You got Man U signing Mason Mount. That was like me being an outside fan of just the Prem in general, like I think that money was a little crazy on Man United's side. I think so.
I thought it was a pretty decent fee because him being an English player, you always got to pay that
the English
tax, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah, of course.
I thought that was a decent deal for him. And if you look at what players like Havertz have gone for, I think Man United got him for I think a decent fee.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure, yes and no. But just looking back at the season Chelsea just had, I personally don't think the value of Mason is still that high as what they paid. But like you said, the English tax does have its rounds with teams in the Prem. So,
all right. So I have a question to ask you.
Yeah, man.
So I think some comparable transactions that have occurred this window so far have been Mason Mount, Havertz, and Dominic Szoboszlai from Liverpool. Like, who do you think had the best signing there? Because they can both kind of play that attacking midfielder role.
Szoboszlai 100%. Just looking at the way he plays for Red Bull, he's a box to box. He could play attacking, offensive, defensive. He's an all around guy. Like, I see him as basically as a younger Milner in a sense, a better Milner, and I think just all around he does more than any of those guys. Mason Mount, Kai Havertz.
Because Chelsea fans used to love Mason Mount because of the effort he used to put in on the field, even off the ball with his with his track work and tracking back and things like that. So I think that those fans, Chelsea fans, would have liked Mason Mount. Maybe they would beg to differ because I think they were quite sad to lose him. And I don't know. I think Szoboszlai is definitely better than Havertz. I think that was probably the worst signing of the three.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That we had mentioned.
100%.
And I think it's also the most expensive of the three too, right? Havertz.
He was 65 mil or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's just insane. Like, I just don't see he's played in the Prem for 3-4 years now.
Yeah.
And I think his most prolific highlight that he's had with Chelsea is scoring the winning goal in the Champions League final. Sure, yeah, we'll give it to him. But besides that, he hasn't done much for this Chelsea side.
So I know when he used to play in Leverkusen, he used to play in a more center attacking midfielder role.
Yeah.
When he goes to Chelsea, now he's asked to play in that striker position.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that if they were to play him in his older position as a more attacking midfielder, giving him that space to roam behind the front line, do you think he would perform better? And you think Mikel Arteta could transform Havertz? Because I don't think he's going to start, but off the bench, do you think he can provide that depth and carry Arsenal to that top tier or to compete with Manchester City all the way?
Yeah. I think this Kai Havertz signing was more of a depth signing, a very expensive depth signing for Arsenal, because I think in the end of the day, looking at the season Arsenal had, it was the battle of attrition at the end of the day, and they just couldn't last as long.
Yeah,
as
those
Man
injuries to especially William Saliba was massive.
Yeah, but nonetheless, I don't think he starts over Odegaard for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So he's definitely I'll give it to him. He's definitely a good swap out
Role
for
player.
swap out for Odegaard.
And the good thing about him too is he can play multiple positions.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I think that's definitely an asset for him.
I honestly, it'll be really interesting seeing Arsenal this season, just because I think they got a lot more depth all around now. Like look at Havertz. Like now they got at the forward position, they got Florian Balogun.
Yeah,
He had an outstanding season.
for sure.
Like they got still Gabi Jesus, Eddie Nketiah.
Yeah, they have a lot of attacking threats.
Like-
So that's why I think Havertz will be able to play more of an attacking midfielder role behind the striker position. But they do have the luxury to play him as striker if needed. So I think it's a decent signing for them.
Oh,
But
for sure.
yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think Sabalai, he's gonna have the most to prove out of the three, because obviously he's not a proven player in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And it's one thing to do it out to perform well outside the Premier League, and it's one thing to actually perform in the Prem, because it's definitely a more demanding and physical league. But I think he has the attributes, especially with his physicality.
Yeah.
He's a big lad.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I think that he has the potential to be the best signing out of the three.
Oh yeah, and especially now, like the fact that just today that there's basically the transfer is like official that Jordan Henderson is joining Steven Gerrard's side in Saudi Arabia there. So, like they need that new guy to go box to box, that engine roll on the team, the catalyst. And I think Szoboszlai, like I don't think you're finding someone as young, as talented as him on the open
definitely.
market these days.
Definitely.
So I'll give that Liverpool signing an A+. I think him and Alexi McAllister, massive signings in the midfield for Liverpool.
For sure. So I have a question to ask you now that we were talking about Saudi Arabia. Which league is the bigger retirement league?
Oh,
MLS or Saudi Arabia? Because I
Buddy,
think there's only one correct answer to that question.
honestly, man, like in the end of the day, like I saw an interview Ronaldo did in Portugal just like yesterday or something. Him basically saying that Saudi league is miles ahead of MLS, and like.
And what do you think about that?
Honestly,
Because I think there's only one correct answer to this.
I don't know.
I'm curious to see what you have to say.
I think now there's a lot of things to look into at this point, because there's so many more rules to MLS to make it into like for it to be the way it is, to be the retirement league it is. Because
So you're saying the MLS is the real,
yes,
retirement?
Yeah,
league?
I'll be straight up. At this point, MLS is that,
Because that's 100% the right answer.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Like look at Miami. They're literally signing guys from it's literally Barcelona. Like
They're signing the official retirement home for Barcelona
buddy,
players.
like, it's an absolute joke. Like
They got Busquets already. They got Messi.
Yeah.
Now I heard Jordi Alba's linked.
Yeah, like these guys are
Suarez is linked.
like, all respect to Messi. He's like one of the best players ever to play the game. But dude, like at the end of the day, you have guys joining this league 30, 35, 36 years old, way out of their prime.
Way
like,
out.
Like, come on. Like, and we're like, people are celebrating, and like it's the best thing to ever happen in this league.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, Messi's massive, absolutely massive for this league.
No, for
Credit
sure.
to them. But like, let's be real. Like, sure, maybe Sergio Busquets still has it a little bit, but I think this league has to really invest into its future.
No,
sign,
definitely.
like, get these young guys. You got like,
I don't think they have the pull to get them though.
you know what though? Like, looking at guys like Ricky Puig, who left Barca to join MLS, he's been playing pretty damn good over here. Like credit, like, you know what? Props to him for coming to MLS and trying it out. And you know what? He's done absolutely phenomenal. I think it shows young players in Europe, South America, that hey, like, let's go here. We can develop a lot better in this league than if I go join a Premier League side at 19, 20 years old. If I go join Real Madrid, Barcelona at this age, like, MLS has to find a way to pull these young players in and stop looking at these old guys, because
They're giving some sort of stigma towards the league now, because people don't think of MLS now as a league where, or like, they don't think of MLS as a competitive league anymore. They think of it as a league where if you're aging and you're past your prime and you want to make a little bit extra dough, you come to the MLS, you cruise, and you play.
Yeah, no, exactly that, and like that's why like a lot of these old guys are joining teams like L.A.,
Yeah, but I
Miami.
you know what it is too.
Mm.
I think that they underestimate the MLS,
Oh, 100%.
like the physicality in a sense, because
100%.
sure, technically they're heads and shoulders above the other players.
Talent wise.
Like yeah, technically,
Yeah.
right? Like dribbling wise,
Oh yeah.
passing, like IQ.
Mm-hmm.
But physically, you do see the drop off in the play
Mm-hmm.
because, like, if I use like TFC as an example,
Yeah.
because it's our home team.
Yeah.
You see players like Insigne.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the physicality to play in
No.
this league.
No, definitely not.
You could really see, like, technically, yeah, he could dribble better, but man gets pushed off the ball every chance he gets.
For sure.
He doesn't cut it.
Yeah.
I think he thought he was gonna come here, cruise, and have a similar like Cinderella send off like Giovinco did when he came
Oh yeah.
here. He definitely thought that was gonna happen.
100%. I think he thought that he was gonna do like even better than Giovinco because
Exactly,
let's be real,
because
when
he had a
Giovinco-
better career.
Dude, Giovinco when he came here, he was a bench warmer for Juventus.
And he had a better career
Yeah,
than
exactly.
Giovinco. But I think Giovinco came here with the right mentality. They had the right squad,
Yeah.
and they had a great coach because Insigne came here. We were in shambles.
Oh yeah.
And then we thought, okay, let me get these Italian guys. They're going to patch the cracks.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get Insigne. We're going to get Bernardeschi. We're going to get Crescido.
Yeah.
We're going to get all these Italian guys, and they're going to come here and automatically fix the squad.
No, exactly.
But it doesn't work like that.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. And like in the end of the day, you gotta be able to, develop, like, get into this league and play well in it. You cannot expect just to come into this league and be like, I'm gonna run around and
Yeah.
run circles around these guys, because in the end of the day,
It's a physical league. It's a physical league because MLS players, they do lack a lot of quality, but they do have the physicality.
yeah, oh
They
yeah,
do have the fitness.
Mhm.
Those guys, they may not be the most technical players, but they do put in a shift every game they play. They
Oh, yeah.
run a lot,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's a very physically demanding league,
mm-hmm.
right? Not the most technical, but physically demanding. And I'm gonna be curious to see how those guys do in Inter Miami when they come, if they can fix a squad, because I think they're in a same kind of
They're-
predicament as TFC in
Yeah.
a sense where they're in shambles too. They're last
Yeah.
place. They're even worse than TFC. this season.
Exactly. I don't
So,
know how that's even possible.
Let's see how the impact of Messi when Busquets comes in. Let's see who else they can bring, right? Because
Yeah.
Jordi Alba, Iniesta, those guys are rumors, right? Another
Yeah.
rumor I seen too was Raul Albiol, right?
These-
I seen that rumor too. So let's see if those guys can come here, if
Yeah.
they can stay in shape and they can keep up with the physicality of the MLS, because I think
Mhm.
that's a very underrated aspect of this league.
No, definitely.
And I think more of these old players, when they come here, they really find, wow,
yeah.
I didn't expect it to be like this.
Oh, 100%, 100%. But in the end of the day, like bringing these old, circling back to your question, it's like MLS. It's like they shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah,
Bringing in these old timers, dude. Like, okay, yes, Messi, but you're bringing still these old guys that they're past their prime, man.
yeah, I know.
It's like they're just here to be like, let me get this last paycheck. Let
No,
me
exactly.
stay fit, whatever.
Because if you look at it, like, okay, let me switch it to Saudi Arabia League, right?
Yeah.
So let's rewind to last year
Mhm.
around Christmas time. Ronaldo does the interview with Piers Morgan, goes to Al Nassr. Everyone criticizes Ronaldo. Who is the Saudi League? That is a terrible league.
Yeah.
Has no players in it. Look at this summer now.
Yeah.
Look at the names they've attracted to the Saudi
No,
League.
exactly.
And they're not getting players that are past their prime. They're getting players, top quality players
Oh, yeah.
that teams even in the Prem would like.
Oh,
Look at the most
100%.
recent signing for Al Nassr.
Yeah.
They got number 1, Seko Fofana. They got him today
Yeah.
from Law.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cracking signing for him.
Exactly.
I think that guy could make it in the Prem.
dude.
And they got Brozovic from Inter,
Mm-hmm.
a Champions League finalist player,
Yep. No, exactly.
right?
Yep.
So you're getting some pretty top class player and players that could still play in the top divisions
Oh, 100%.
in leagues
100%.
coming. Because you still got Benzema, who is still cracking in goals for Real Madrid, one of the best strikers in
Guy
the
was
world.
just Ballon d'Or winner like a few months
Exactly.
ago. Like, let's be real.
So
he's still a top
you're
striker.
getting that league has gotten so much quality.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually insane.
Yep. No,
They
exactly.
got Milinkovic Savic the other day as well.
Oh yeah, Al Hilal or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
and Koulibaly.
yeah. No, exactly, man.
So
You're getting guys still not even in their prime yet.
they're a little bit past their prime.
Yeah, but you got.
But they still are top quality players, top class players.
Yeah, but you do have those younger guys. Like you got Ruben Neves.
Exactly.
Which was massive.
Diego Jota, the one from Celtic.
Like solid players that haven't even reached their prime yet, and they're going to this league. They're determined. They're invested into building their career. Sure, the money speaks as well.
I know.
Like
that's you got to take that into consideration
Yeah.
as well, because MLS doesn't have they can't spend the same type of money as the Saudi Arabians do.
yes and no. Like yes, there is the ruling in MLS as of right now that you can only have 3 designated players, which make like substantial amounts more money than the average player on the team. So yes, there are limits to what you can do on these teams, but in the end of the day, this league can attract better players. But you gotta put your money where your mouth is. In the end of the day, and unfortunately, this is where football's come to. You gotta spend the money.
You gotta spend the money
to attract these guys,
and you gotta have the right people come in.
Yeah, exactly.
So this comes to like another point that I have.
Mm-hmm.
So we see the Saudis, they're spending a lot of money on these players, and maybe a little bit too much money on for some of them, right? Some of these guys past their prime, they're buying them from these clubs like Chelsea, for example. Do you think that this is a sustainable business model that the Saudis can keep on doing, keep on pumping in this money? Do you think that that's a sustainable model, or do you think that somehow, the Saudi Arabia, if they pump enough money in, people are just going to want to go there anyway, and they don't have to spend ridiculous amounts because they'll be able to attract them anyway?
Yeah, I think something to look past on is like a league that did the exact same thing and like completely and utterly failed on this is the Chinese Super League.
Yeah, but I see a lot of comparisons, like people drawing comparisons to the Chinese Super League, but I think it's completely I don't think it's parallel in any way, because if you look at the Saudi Arabian, if you look at the Saudi League, they start off with Ronaldo.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And you know how much advertisement that guy and branding Ronaldo brings to the league.
Oh yeah,
and the draw is that Chinese Super League never had that.
Yeah.
And I don't care what you guys what people say. It doesn't matter how good or bad Ronaldo plays. People will still watch Ronaldo.
Exactly.
And he'll draw attention to the league.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what league he goes to. It doesn't matter how good he plays. Even if he's piss poor.
Yeah.
People are still going to watch him play because he has that connection with his fans. And he has a lot of loyalty.
Yeah, 100%. No,
and
I
you
agree.
can even see sites like ESPN, right? ESPN Football, criticized Ronaldo when he left. They still post about him today.
Yep.
Scoring a goal, doing a good dribble, or whoever they're signing. Did they ever post about Saudi Arabia before this?
Definitely not.
So
Definitely not.
I think that Saudi Arabia, they took it in a different direction first. They first bring in that one marquee signing, and it kind of paved the way in a sense to other people. I know money talks,
100.
but at the same time, they've always had money.
Yeah.
They just never had the pull.
Exactly.
Now, other players are starting to see the opportunity to come to Saudi Arabia.
100%. I think Ronaldo has invested his future into this league so much.
Yeah.
He's telling so many guys he has connections with, hey, join the league.
Exactly. And you know what? I think that underneath the table or behind the scenes, Ronaldo has a lot more vested in than money, just money.
Oh, definitely.
I think he's going to have a lot of business opportunities
Yeah.
that were presented to him that no one knows about. Because at the end of the day, Ronaldo's a fantastic player, but he's also a fantastic businessman.
Oh, 100%, man. 100%. Yeah, either way. But going back to the question, looking at even because of how much money Saudi Arabia is spending, a lot of teams and leagues are looking and investing into
youth,
young guys. Like you got Barcelona signing Vitor Roque.
Yeah.
18, 19 years old.
He's 18.
and those are the guys these teams, the best teams historically, have to go for nowadays, because like they basically have to rely so much on their history and at this point, because
They don't
when it
have the
comes to
money to keep.
competing, yeah, when it comes to competing for a salary, they are not beating. They're never gonna beat Saudi Arabia at this point.
Or
Never.
even teams funded by Saudi
Yeah.
Arabian
Oh,
buyers
100%.
or owners like
Yeah.
City.
Yeah. And then,
And at the end of the day, these clubs really have to move in towards a more sustainable business model, because
100%.
spending astronomical amounts on players
Yep.
is not a good decision, because look at, let's take Barcelona for example. When Neymar left,
Mm-hmm.
right, and Suarez was gone and Messi was gone, they were throwing money left, right, and center to find the next replacement. And they spent, like, let's say Ousmane Dembele, for example. Fantastic player, but hasn't really panned out. Always injured.
Yeah.
History of injuries. And spending so much money on players they're not quite yet proven, and it comes to bite them in the butt, because then you can't be spending hundreds of millions of euros every transfer window
Mm-hmm.
just to take the chance on a young player that's doing well in a different league.
No, exactly. I agree.
Those teams historically have always had a good base of academy players.
Yeah, of course.
Or Spanish players,
yeah.
right? Like, for example, Barcelona,
La Masia.
right? Look at Xavi and Iniesta, like
Yeah.
those kind of players, academy players, Puyol,
Yep.
those guys that coming from the academy, and then Messi, they would spend some money on like one or two other players to really strengthen the squad
No, exactly.
and have those proven marquee signings.
Mm-hmm. No,
Right?
I completely agree. And like, and I guess this is what teams in Europe. This is the reality of the future.
Exactly.
Teams in Europe having to invest into the future.
Exactly.
Young players.
And you know what? If you don't get it right, you're going to see the consequences. Because look at Barcelona now.
Of course.
They have to sell their rights for everything.
Yeah. Yeah. They have.
They have
changed
no.
The name of the
They have
Camp Nou.
absolutely no money. So now
Yeah.
they have to go based on their name, and they have to go after these young guys like Vitor Roque. They have to take the chance.
Yeah. No.
Sure,
exactly.
he has abundance of talent. Who knows if he's gonna pan out? He's only 18.
Yeah.
But you have to take the chance on those players, because now you can't be spending hundreds of millions on players, because you can't have the budget for that.
Yep. No, I
You
agree.
gotta hope that your academy graduates, Gavi, Pedri, Balde, players like that can carry the squad forth, and you spend your money more wisely.
Oh, 100%.
And you can see Madrid doing the same thing now.
Mm-hmm.
With
yeah, like I said in one of our past podcasts, it's like Real Madrid just recycled for another 10 years, another decade of
yeah,
promising like good football. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
like their average age of their squad now is like what, 23, 24? Like
Yeah, they
signed Arda Güler from Fenerbahce. This kid, you see some highlights of him in
Yeah.
training sessions. He's taking on the world's best midfielders, defenders, and he's making them look like
Yeah, no.
absolute pylons.
I've seen some training footage of him, and he looks like an absolute amazing
yeah.
player.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I'm really curious to see when the league starts back up if he's going to be able to carry those clips and that hype
Mm-hmm.
and actually put the boots on and perform in the games. Because I'll be honest with you, when I see his highlights,
Yeah.
I'm amazed.
Oh yeah, it's
In
exciting.
training, he looks
It's
like an
entertaining,
incredible
man.
player.
Oh yeah.
Taking on players, dribbling, roulettes,
Oh yeah.
skill moves. Like, the guy has it. Looks like he has it all.
Oh yeah. 100%.
So we'll see if he can put it together. And
Mm-hmm.
they got him for an amazing fee. They bought him for 20 million euros
Yeah.
at only 18 years old. I mean, a guy with so much potential.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's gonna be really exciting, and I hope he can actually pan out, because you've seen players like Odegaard coming to Madrid at such a young age and never really got the opportunity. And you know what? He did end up panning out now in Arsenal, but he did have a couple of years where everyone was labeling him as a flop.
Yeah. No, 100%. 100%.
And you know, when you go to these clubs like Real Madrid, you have that pressure to perform.
Of course.
And you always are going to have scrutiny on everything you do.
Yeah. That's what I've said in the past is like one thing if I was a professional football player, it's like I would think twice before signing at such a young age for such a top team in the world like a Real Madrid or something like that. If I was good, like if I had a potential, if people saw potential in me. Personally, it's like let me go sign for a mid-tier team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, still in Champions League football, and show my work. You know, show my work in Europe, and still be playing at the top levels of European competition. In the end of the day, like I feel like at that point you're getting the minutes, you're getting better at the sport, and you know your value only gets higher from there. Your confidence levels, your mentality is all getting better. That's why, like in the end of the day, hey, props to him going to Real Madrid. But like you said, let's see what happens on the pitch.
Okay,
when it
but
comes
do you
to the
think
first
that's
game.
easier said than done, though?
Oh, 100%.
Because
man.
if Real Madrid comes up to you and offers you a contract to play for them, you're gonna take it. It doesn't matter. You're not gonna pass up on that opportunity because you're gonna be playing for one of the most historically great
of course.
franchises in all of soccer. You're not gonna say no because you never know. If you're a soccer player,
Yeah.
you go and you sign a different contract.
Mhm.
You next week you get injured, you tear your ACL. You're never gonna get that opportunity again.
But that's luck of the draw as well, man. That you gotta be really unlucky for that to happen to you.
It doesn't matter, but I'm saying nothing's ever guaranteed.
Of course.
If you have the opportunity to sign for a top team,
Mhm.
you have to take it.
Yeah.
And you have to bet on yourself and bet on your own talent and say, I'm going to come there, I'm going to show my worth, and I'm going to work my way into the starting 11.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think if you're a talented player, you have to take those big leaps of faith and believe in yourself and say, I might be on the bench for a little bit, but in a couple of months, I'm going to show myself in training. I'm going to show myself in those cup games or those games that are not really relevant or of much relevance, and eventually work my way into the starting 11.
Hey, then you know what? Like, sure, like, like I said, let's see what happens with this youngster at Real Madrid and those
I have big, high expectations for him.
and the other Brazilians as well.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to talk about, since we're on the topic of Real Madrid.
Yeah.
So I was kind of looking at their signings when I was looking, and I seem to see they have a glaring hole in their squad. Can you guess what that position is?
I'm gonna say left back.
The striker position. They have no one to play striker.
I don't know. After thinking about it, yeah, you're pretty right on that one. I don't know.
Let's look at their squad list, right? So you look at their goalie, right? They have Courtois starting in net. They have a youngster in the back.
Yeah.
They have fantastic defense. Rudiger, Alaba, Eder Militao, Carvajal. You have the ultimate utility man, Nacho Fernandez.
That's it.
You have Camavinga, who also plays left back and DM or midfield if you want.
Yeah.
You have the midfield stacked to the brim.
No, 100%.
Valverde, Modric. You have Arda Güler. You have Tchouaméni, Ceballos, Jude Bellingham, Cruz. Stacked midfield as you like. You look at their attackers. You got Rodrigo and Vinicius.
Yeah.
You lost Benzema now. Who's coming? Who's gonna play your striker role? They have Jose Lu that they signed, but is he gonna be that starting caliber striker for a team like Real Madrid? Or do you think there's an opening?
I foresee something in the future, buddy.
Yeah. You and everybody else.
Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah. You
Man.
think they're lining it up for the old Kylian Mbappe?
Listen here, you heard it first from me. He's signing this window or in January for Real Madrid. You heard it here first. PSG is not letting Kylian Mbappe walk away for free. If they do, the amount of money that they just let get flushed down the toilet is absolutely nuts.
It's not about them letting it, though. It's that Mbappe doesn't want to leave because he has that loyalty bonus.
Yeah, but in the end of the day, like I think he's just a turmoil like he's put himself in with PSG at this point. And let's be real here. We saw last season how ruthless PSG fans could be to the world's one of the world's best players.
But they owe him that. I don't see. The thing is with me is like I don't think Mbappe leaves because I don't think Real Madrid is going to pay the money that PSG is asking for because financially it makes absolutely no sense. His contract expires this year.
Yeah.
Why are you going to pay 200 million, 150 million, whatever they want for him, even 100 million, for a player that has 1 year left on his contract, when you can sign a pre-agreement with him in December for free?
Yeah. No,
And if you're Mbappe, why am I gonna go to Real Madrid when I have a loyalty bonus for staying at PSG? Plus, if I negotiate properly, when I go to Real Madrid and I choose to sign for free, he's probably gonna get a signing on bonus
yeah.
and probably a substantial figure too. Kylian Mbappe is another player that has a very smart business
Mindset.
moves and
Yeah.
mindset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, of course.
He's been very smart with his financial decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And he worked himself into a contract with PSG, and they shot themselves in the foot and gave the player all the power. And now, you know what? He's exercising his power because he's gonna make all that money on with the loyalty bonus.
Yeah.
And if I was him, I wouldn't leave either.
No, and for sure. But I think Real Madrid is seriously. You caught it. I didn't even think about it at first, but they're in a serious need for a world class. It's Real Madrid in the end of the day. It's the Galactic.
It's Real Madrid, but I just don't think they're. I think it would be a very bad decision financially to sign him this year if you know he's going to sign for you for free.
Yes and no.
You're talking about 100 million, 200 million, 150 million, whatever that is. That's not chump change. That's
no,
not
of
20
course
million.
not. Of course not.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they could make do with Rodrigo at striker if they need to, or Jose Lu or whoever.
Jose Lu was one of the top scorers in La Liga last
year, so you can't underestimate him either.
Oh, of course not.
The transfer window's not done, so they could sign another youngster, or they can give their own youngster a chance too. I forgot the name of the young Spanish guy that scored in the Champions League, the striker.
Yeah, no, I completely forget his name as well. I remember he came on in like the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, and he scored a goal. So
yeah,
I think Real Madrid is making their team smart financially, and if I was them, wait till if I know that Mbappe is gonna sign for me, let the contract run down and sign him for free.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
And if I'm Mbappe, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna sign for free, and I'm gonna take the signing on bonus, whatever they give me.
Yeah,
whatever I can negotiate for myself. So I don't know. I thought that was a really interesting hole I see in Real Madrid's team, and I think it's they're lining up Mbappe.
Yeah, I think one thing that we slipped by this week is the whole thing going on with Benjamin Mendy.
Yeah,
and shout out to him. You know what? Today he signed for Nantes. I think it's Nantes in France. You know what? Credit to him. 2.5 years out of football, and he hasn't given up on his playing career after everything that happened to him. You know, like after all the alleged stuff going on, like in the end day, credit to him for staying and being true to himself and staying in football.
Yeah, staying in shape.
Yeah, man.
Like
in the end day,
I think a lot of people don't really understand how good of in a shape, like physically, you have to be to play soccer or football, just by running around for 90 minutes, especially in a role like left back where you really have to be going up and down the pitch.
Exactly.
I mean, staying in that shape with all the stuff going around in his life at that time, and obviously it could be really discouraging being in that
predicament. Like it's just wild. But kudos to him for what he's done and the justice that he got. And everything like that is just like it's huge for him in the end of the day.
And kudos for the team for picking him up, because I don't think a lot of teams would.
No, exactly. The guy in the end of the day, he won a World Cup with France.
Yeah,
like he was a top player and before the whole controversy happened. And so hope all the best for him, and let's see where things go for him.
Okay. Well, hopefully he can pick up his form and pick up right where he left off. I mean, it won't be easy, but we'll see what happens with him.
Yeah.
So, another thing I wanted to talk about today was one of the big stars in the World Cup that kind of fell off the headlines a bit. At least for me, is one of the biggest stars. It is Amrabat from Morocco.
Ooh.
He had a very fantastic World Cup with Morocco.
Yeah.
One of the best defensive midfielders in that competition.
No doubt at all.
His determination, his aggression, his physicality was second to none in that tournament.
100%.
And he really showed a lot of quality, and I think a lot of teams really want him.
Yeah.
And I see in the headlines right now, Man United and Liverpool are looking for him, and I think that a great place for him to go would be Liverpool, because I think that Fabinho is done.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I think he's toast.
Yeah.
He's lost all his form, and he doesn't have the physicality to play that role anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that if Amrabat was to go to Liverpool, he slots right in there, and he gives them that much needed backbone,
Mm-hmm.
right?
No doubt.
What do you think?
No, I completely agree. And not only internationally did he play well, but he also played well on the club level as well. He brought Fiorentina to the Conference League final, and unfortunately, they lost in the finals to West Ham. But you know what? Like, he's a massive part for reasons. Morocco finished top 4 in that World Cup.
Yeah.
And finalist in the Conference League.
Yeah, he's
like, there's no coincidence to why both those teams made it as far as they did in those respected competitions. He's a massive part of that whole thing, and you know, he should be rewarded with a massive move for him.
Yeah, and I think that I think this transfer window, Fiorentina is going to have to let him go, and I think he makes a big move to the Prem.
Yeah,
with his physicality.
Oh, no doubt. He would be a solid signing for any team in the Prem. Any team, I think. Like, any team in the Prem would be great to have him. Like, even as a player off the bench for Man City, buddy. Hey, don't knock it till you try. Listen, they had Fernandinho at City for as long as they did. This man could do the job as well. So
yeah, I think though, like the big signing for him would be Liverpool. They really need.
Sure.
I think they really lack that physical midfielder right now, and I think he would be a perfect signing.
Yeah.
In that system.
There's some big signings happening all around the world. You got Saudis splashing the cash. You got Arsenal friggin' putting way more depth into their squad, competing for.
Arsenal spent the most amount any club has this season already.
No doubt.
With Declan Rice, 115 million for Declan Rice, plus Kai Havertz.
Yeah.
So those two guys, they're spending almost 200 million. So.
No, exactly. Like, a question in the comments I want to get answers to is, where do you guys see Arsenal finishing this season? Do you see them still challenging for that top spot, or do other teams look like they have a higher chance than Arsenal?
Listen, the window's not over. No, these teams have there's a lot of business left to do.
100%.
And a lot of teams that need those pivotal positions to be strengthened.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, and shout out, before we end it off, shout out to Benfica, shout out to Di Maria for signing back with our club.
Yeah.
You know, true loyal Benfiquista right there. Gotta love him.
Back home.
That's it. Back home. All right, guys. It's been a fun-filled, transfer-filled day episode on the pod. And, you know, catch us next week. Please like, subscribe, and we will catch you guys next week. Ciao for now.
No stalling, white boy with a shotty like Holland. Better pay your shit like ASAP or show bro like go call a mobbing. Batman in the ends love robbing. Curfew down by 10, so see a girl like mine like see her, cause ain't no way you'll see her. She a low-key diva. In between her legs like Salah, give her the sauce. Some like